Namaste, angels. I decided to come back on with this like a preview or trailer to this week's reading. Now that I've had time to put some of the things that came up, because there were so many things that came up in that reading, like since I've been back on posting videos, publicly, the videos have been like 20 minutes, 30 minutes long, and this one was an hour because it just kept like evolving into, I wasn't completely sure what at the time. Um, Although there were a lot of clear messages, there were just a lot of things that came up, and I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? So I've put some of it together. It came to me like basically as soon as I shut the camera off. I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. So, for example, um, something's coming back around, and it could be a relationship, it could be like a job offer, um, some sort of opportunity is coming back around, and one of the cards that came up, for example, was like the Seven of Wands. And I said, you're going to have to like stand your ground. You're going to have to protect yourself in some way, defend yourself in some way. Don't let anybody like walk over you and stuff. And so with this thing that's coming back around, or this person that's coming back around, some of us are going to have to decide if we're still interested, like if we want this thing to come back around. And it might be something that we've been wishing for, we've been hoping, we've been trying to manifest. You know, I hope this I hope to get this opportunity again, or maybe we had manifested at some point, and now we've sort of let it go, because that seems to be like when our manifestations come true is when we like release them, like let go and let God, as they say. So you've done that, and now this thing is coming, and you're not sure if you want it. Now, in some cases, that can have to do with trust issues, and so you're not sure it's going to be completely legit on the up and up, what you deserve. So if it's a job, for example, you may be wanting to say this time around, like, okay, I'll take the job, or, I'll think about it. But you know what? The price just went up. My rate just went up. And we're going to have to renegotiate that, or negotiate, my benefits, or whatever the case may be. If it's a relationship, it's like, okay, I'm up to see, where this take this, how this goes. But you're going to have to show me with actions that back up your words that what you're saying is true. You're going to have to prove it to me this time that this is for real. So if it's somebody that's ghosted you, for example, um, maybe this isn't the first time, and you're like, I'm done with that. Like, I'm not going to keep getting into a relationship with you only to have you ghost me. I'm getting off of this roller coaster, this um, revolving door. I'm getting out of this thing. And they're back because they do legitimately mean it, but you're going to have to, again, defend yourself, protect yourself, stand your ground, and insist that they gain your trust again, that they prove it to you with their actions, and they make you feel comfortable that they're not going anywhere this time, so that you can let your guard down, that you can be, trust them and trust yourself to be vulnerable with them again. Um, So again, some of these relationships, or it could have been like a long time coming. And if it was an opportunity, maybe something that you applied for a long time ago, you tried to get into. And so, for example, if it was a career move, maybe you got to think about it because you are in a different career. You're on a different path. Maybe you realize you're on a different path now. And you got to think about, like, do I actually want that thing to come back into my life? For some of us, because like June came up through, for example, like I had a card that had this white buck on it, and I thought about hunting season, which usually starts around June or Pride Month, and sometimes like a big event will the first thing that we'll see in hunting season is members of the LGBTQIA community being harmed or something like that, and so that's why I get the June. Like I said, a bunch of weird stuff, and I wasn't sure like how it fit. Now I'm thinking something may have happened in June, um, or even July, because one of the cards also was giving me like Lunar New Year vibes and like fireworks and lanterns and stuff like that. Maybe something happened around the 4th of July, and that doesn't have to be this year. Whenever it occurred in your relationship or situation, whenever this thing happened, um, maybe you lost your job, or that's when you applied, or that's when you got turned down. You went for an interview, went back for another interview, and then you never heard from this place. And it's like they were so interested in me, they didn't even have the decency to tell me I'm not hired. They never let you know that they hired somebody else, or that they didn't hire anybody at all. They changed their minds, and now all of a sudden, out of the blue, here they are, or here this person is. So I think you get the idea, right? Something is returning. It's unexpectedly, and you're not going to be sure if you want it. Now, the cards did show that on both sides they should take a chance. So again, if it's an employer, if it's a relationship, if it's a divine masculine or whatever that wants to approach you, they should take the chance. We did have the Fool card and stuff, and approach you, and you should be willing to take the chance and give them the opportunity, or take them up on their opportunity, on the offer. But again, carefully. All right, protecting yourself. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. Don't let anybody walk all over you. And don't let anybody repeat any cycles with you, force you into any cycles that you do not want to repeat again. I also had seen in the beginning of the reading, prior to actually doing the cards, when I first got on, I talked about a King of Pentacles again. Said he's very sad, Three of Swords. Um, he messed up somehow, and I really couldn't gather exactly how, but I was like, I think he broke his own heart. He hurt his own feelings because he made a wrong choice. And I didn't mention, and I didn't think about it at the time, that I've talked about some songs that I had been hearing in my head, but I didn't think about it at the time to talk about the fact that I had been hearing, and I got George Harrison behind me, the Beatles yesterday. And particularly the line, "Why'd she have to go? I don't know. She wouldn't say." It's like this feminine is fed up and maybe had given him so many chances, but now is done, right? And just had to walk away from the situation, and maybe didn't even tell him I'm walking away, or her behavior changed. Like, this is somebody that he's always been able to maybe manipulate, or get to come. And I think I talked about the masculine in this situation maybe being very attractive, and that doesn't have to be physically attractive. He is a King of Pentacles. Maybe he's financially attractive. He's maybe both, right? But he's somebody that could provide for you, and is stable in that sense, and as it relates to home and career, and you know that could be why he's very attractive and used to getting his way, right? Because the emperor was also there. And so you showing him something different, maybe even just by walking away from the situation and saying, like, I can't do this anymore. He's not even used to that. He's used to people putting up with his bullshit, or having a desire to put up with his bullshit because he's, so wonderful. He's so good looking, or he's, again, so well off or successful, or combinations of those, or whatever. And so you have shown him something different, and he doesn't know what the hell to do with himself. And the same thing may be true of a job, like they're used to, I got the job, I got the money, I'm doing you a favor, and not valuing what you bring to the organization, or what maybe employees in general bring to the organization. So for you to say, like, I'm not sure I want this anymore, like, fuck off, they're like, oh, like, what? And it's sort of arresting for them, very caught off guard. So whatever went wrong, again, that's another line. What I was. Why'd she have to go? I don't know. She wouldn't say. I did something wrong, and now I long for yesterday. I want the behavior that I used to get out of this person before. I want the relationship that we shared before. I want them to be as interested in me, in the job, in the opportunity, in the offer, whatever it is, as they were before. And at heart, you may be put off because of the way that these cycles have been playing themselves out. So just protect yourself, think first. This woman convinced me to cut my nails yesterday, and now look like, I'm not sure I like them. I'm not sure I like them like this from this side. Just seeing like how short they look. Anyway, she said you should cut because then they won't break as easily. But they weren't breaking. I mean, these are all my nails, you know. So it's like they weren't breaking. I'm not sure I had to cut them. Anyway, um, yeah, stand your ground, protect yourself, guard your heart, but not to the extent that you're unwilling to take chances. Not to the extent that you're unwilling to, you know, live. We got to live, but we can't let people walk all over us. That's the message. Namaste.